Leo, hello, Amanda here. Welcome to Unseen Hands Healing. This is going to be your May shift reading. We are looking at the shape you're shifting out of this month, the shape you're shifting into, and what that shape shift looks and feels like for you. So, Leo, before we get into cards using the Slow Holler Tarot, the image that I felt when I was sitting with your energy, asking for an image that you might find useful this month, I saw you climbing up a mountain with ropes, using ropes. And specifically, it was almost like the rope in gym class where you're like, it's got knots periodically throughout the rope and you're sort of like having to pull yourself up. It's like a test of upper body strength. But when I zoomed out, so like I saw you pulling yourself up knot to knot on this vertical rope, test of upper body strength, and you were efforting. Oh my God, Leo, it was like a real struggle using so much effort. And then when I zoomed out, I was like, wait a second, Leo, this isn't a test of upper body strength. You're mountain climbing. You know, like you are climbing a mountain. You have a belayer down below you supporting you. You have the rock face that you can use to grab onto and to stick your foot into certain holds. Like you don't have to pull yourself up all by yourself and exert all of this effort. It's definitely like a working harder than smarter situation, and it's like a very specific message to work smarter, not harder. It's like why there's an energy of perhaps you creating more work for yourself than you need to in a certain situation, you know, or like you are in a situation that is asking, or in which you are exerting way more effort than is necessary. You know, maybe it's actually much simpler than you think it is. Maybe you have more support systems than you are currently utilizing. Maybe this isn't a test of your upper body strength. Maybe this is a question for you of, can you find a way to more economically manage your energy? Can you shift your external circumstances or your view of those circumstances or the way you act within those circumstances so that you are utilizing perhaps all of the resources available to you and like more economically using your energy rather than exerting all of this force to continue climbing upward. It's like, whoa, hold on a second. So there's that's one thing, is the amount of effort you're exerting, and there's a question around that. The other thing that's coming through this is the fact that you are on an upward trajectory, which felt really encouraging. Like it feels like you're so close too. That's the thing. It feels like whatever this is, you've been climbing for some time and you're so close. Like I felt that you were about to top out, you know, which is like in rock climbing where you get to the top and you can, you know, completely come off of the ropes and climb onto the top of the surface. It's like you are almost there, Leo. That's the feeling. You're almost there. Okay, that's a lot. That's a lot coming through already. Let's get to cards and see how that all shakes out. First, we're going to ask, what is the shape you are shifting out of in May 2020, Leo? What is the shape? Dudes, bottom of the deck. Can we just... Oh my God. Unbelievable. It's interesting too, because in this particular Seven of Swords, we're seeing someone like tucking themselves up and maybe swinging over to avoid the dangers below. And there's a lot of messages here. It's like either you are sort of like rising above the drama, or there could be a second interpretation of this that you're sort of bypassing or denying or ignoring the fact that there are 7 knives climbing up after you. I'm not sure, but I definitely feel like this card needs to be out, and it might even be the shape you're shifting out of. Yeah. Okay. What's the shape Leo is shifting into? What is the shape? That was really specific. Wow. What is the shape Leo is shifting into in the month of May? Seven of Wands. 2 sevens. Can we talk about that? Shifting from 7 of Swords into 7 of Wands. You know, traditionally in the tarot, 7 of Wands talks about standing up for yourself. It talks about rising above certain energy in order to like assert your power, your personal power. There's a need to defend yourself here, or at least you perceive there's a need to defend yourself. I'm gonna need a little more info on that. So let's look at what that shapeshift looks and feels like for you, Leo, in May. Let's get some more info. Too many cards. One more. Oh, baby. Oh, I'm getting a really specific sensation. It's so intense. Okay. We've got the Star, the 10 of Pentacles, and the Wheel of Fortune. These are really, really gorgeous cards to get. And I'm like dizzy with this message. If there is something you have been avoiding, ignoring, denying, trying to pretend isn't happening, I don't think you can do that anymore, because this is like a spotlight shining right on the 10 of Pentacles, which we're seeing a home situation. I'm seeing very particularly, like I'm being drawn to the domestic sphere. There's something going on inside the house, Leo. There's something, that's what I'm feeling. It's like there's something going on inside the house that perhaps you've been trying to just sort of like, you know, like slide over, swing over that. And it's like, you've got to see these swords now. You have got to see this thing that perhaps you've been avoiding. It's like the Star is really trying to shine a clear light on that you cannot ignore. That's what I'm feeling. It wants to shine a light that you cannot ignore on something going on inside the home space. So this could be like an issue going on in the domestic sphere. This could be an issue like with your literal home. I don't know. But it's interesting too, because we're in the middle of COVID, and that means that we are inside the house. And here we have this scene inside the house. And here's the thing, you know, it's like, it's really easy for us to ignore certain situations in our domestic spheres, in our intimate spheres, in our homes, when we have the ability to escape them. You know, when we have the ability to get outside the house and just like, okay, well, I'll just go to the office and focus on my energy there, and then I won't have to focus on what's going on inside the house. But it's, you know, with COVID, we can't do that. Our escapist methods are becoming fewer and fewer and fewer. or at the very least are becoming magnified within the confines of a home environment. You know, you can't spread out your like escaping coping mechanisms by, well, I'll go to the office and then I'll get drinks with a friend and then I'll go here and I'll take a trip and I'll, you know, it's like whatever this is, I'm feeling like you have to face this. You have to face this. Yeah. It's going to be different for everybody. This is a really specific message that might not be for everyone, but I'm being drawn to this mess. There's like a mess. There's a mess that is just sort of left out in the open. And that might be more specific for some than others, but it's like you have to look at this mess now. Something like that, which could be literal or could be metaphorical for you. You gotta look at this mess inside the house. And not only look at it, but make a change. Wheel of Fortune. Turning of the wheel, shifting your fate. It's interesting too, because the Star card talks about fate. You know, it talks about destiny. It talks about navigating by that North Star in the sky, that star that's trying to take you to your destiny, which is why I think, Leo, it's trying to show you what the heck's going on inside this house, saying, please, you can't ignore this any longer. You have to look at this because it's like your destiny at stake. Your fate is at stake. You need to shift something. Something needs to shift in your world, and whatever this is, you have to see this clearly and face it before that can happen. Or like you seeing this clearly is a catalyst for that change, for that shift. Check out the moon cycle here. We start this month, you know, we start Taurus season with a Taurus new moon, the start of this new moon cycle. Leo. And then the shape you're shifting into is the 7 of branches, 7 of wands. Just give me a second. It's interesting that I've been talking about the confines of the domestic space, the confines of the home, because I'm seeing this sort of as like a prison. Feeling imprisoned, feeling trapped. Oh gosh, Leo, I want to get clarity on this so badly, which is what we're going to do in the extended reading. You know, earlier I said that this could be about standing up for yourself. This could be about like standing strong, asserting your power, something like that. It can also talk, for me, this card in particular, because of all the bones and all the teeth, I associate it with Saturn energy, and also like the rings of the tree trunk, the rings of Saturn. Saturn embodies this idea of discipline and lessons and like learning, teaching yourself the things you need to learn, things like that. So that could be applicable to someone. I honestly need to investigate this deeper, Leo, so we are going to do just that in the extended reading, which we will now get into. Okay, so if this is sounding like something that is applying to you and you would like to view that extended reading, you can stick around at the end of this reading. We're going to pull you one more card here, but at the end of this half of the reading, there will be a little preview clip of what that extended reading gets into, so you can see if it's continuing to resonate with you. If it is and you'd like to view it, click the link in the description below and that will take you to Patreon. Patreon is an online community I've created for folks who've been following my work. If that's you and you know my work resonates with you and you'd like to dive deeper, visit me on Patreon where you can view this extended reading. Okay, so Leo, let's end this half of your reading anyway before we use clarifiers to continue to get the messages from this reading. We're gonna get you a card from the Octospaman podcast deck. What is the final words in this half of the reading for Leo here? Build, destroy, and rebuild. This is talking about structures. See how we have all the squares? It's so interesting too because Saturn talks about structures. Saturn is the one that helps us come in and say, okay, what are we building and how are we building it? Let's get down to brass tacks. What's the structure of this? And this is like architect energy here. Build, destroy, rebuild. If you have built some sort of structure, 10 of Pentacles, foundation, 10 of Pentacles, that is now starting to unravel, starting to topple, that is because you are perhaps being guided if a structure is destroying itself, it was built on a faulty foundation. You know, if something is imploding, it probably needs to implode so that you can rebuild. I just want to get you one more. One more for Leo. You know I love you, Leo. I got a soft spot. This is going to be real specific for some folks. Don't kiss knives. This is giving me the story of the wolf that is licking the knife and tasting its own blood. You know, it starts eating the meat and tastes the blood and is like, yes, but there's a knife in there. And so as it continues to eat, it starts cutting its own tongue on the knife and it doesn't even realize that it's tasting its own blood. And so it's like, it's eating itself by by consuming this dangerous thing. And again, like the degrees to which that is true for you, it's going to vary. Take it how it resonates. But I felt that there was some danger here that you are pretending isn't as dangerous as it is, perhaps. And it's like, it's time to see this clearly for what it is, whatever that is for you. Because it's like, don't kiss knives, you are hurting yourself. Okay? All right, Leo, we're gonna get deeper into this and figure out what exactly this is talking about. Perhaps I'll see you over there. You can click the link over to Patreon. But no matter what, Leo, take care of yourself this month. If you enjoyed this reading, it would help my channel to grow if you click the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And we will stay connected moving forward. Take care, Leo. I'll talk to you soon. The image I saw in the beginning of you just sort of like hanging on that rope. And here we have two images of something hanging by a rope. And this says stillness. It's like you're hanging there and maybe you're using so much effort, because here's the thing, it takes more effort to just like hang by your arms on a rope than it does to actually progress up the rope, up and over, and then you could be done and you could rest. You know, it's like you need to get over this hump, but you seem to be stuck. Stillness and the way to move through this suspended energy. See the underworld. It's like the underworld is creeping up on you here. Underworld, by the way, death, Scorpio energy. Death, transformation, something needs to end, and you know it. In the underworld, Queen of Cups, Page of Cups, you already know. In your heart, right? Cups talk about the heart space. Look at this crab, Cancer energy right over the heart and up into the throat. Spilling over the third eye, you already know. What is the blockage here?